Hello, Fitness is great. This is your devotion for Wednesday, June 16th. So let's see, try to get this video set. I just uploaded it onto my um, iPad, and so I'll be able to use that now. All right, and so today we're going to be reading from Matthew 7:21 through 23. And Matthew 7:21 to 23 says this: Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Important things to note here. Number one is that people calling God and saying that he's their God doesn't make them their God. That's one thing. Secondly, is that the idea that they prophesied in his name. They prophesied, meaning they spoke forth God's word in God's name. They even cast out devils, and I don't think any of us have ever done that before, but they had cast out devils, and they did a whole bunch of different wonderful works for God. The only problem is that one important thing, and that is that relationship with God. He says, I will profess, Jesus said, I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. And so what we need to understand in this is that we need to make sure we have a relationship with God. Our relationship with God is the most important thing. Doing things for him, being born in a Christian family, being baptized, going to church all the time, those things mean nothing when you're talking about a relationship with God. I mean, they do mean something once you have a relationship with God because it helps you to grow that relationship, to maintain that relationship, but it doesn't mean anything other than the fact that those things are things that you do as opposed to anything else. This is called Precious Stones, and it's part one. I'm so glad I can spend part of my summer vacation here in Colorado with you, Aunt Kim, said Zoe. Aunt Kim was lots of fun, and Zoe loved to roam around Aunt Kim's jewelry store and look at all the beautiful gems. The first day Zoe visited the store with her aunt, she pointed to a ring in the display case. That's a ruby, isn't it? Zoe asked. It looks like the one you gave Mom for her birthday. It's not exactly the same, Aunt Kim replied, taking the ring out and handing it to Zoe. Your mother's is the real thing. This one is synthetic. Zoe looked at the ring carefully. Synthetic? What does that mean? And maybe you all don't remember that word. I think some of you have had it, if not both classes have had that word. But synthetic, and you're getting ready to find out what it means. He says, well, I guess you could call it a fake. It's simply not real ruby. It's man-made. That's what synthetic means, is man-made. Aunt Kim explained, it looks a lot like a ruby, but it doesn't cost nearly as much. Many people can't tell the difference. I can see why a lot of them would be fooled, said Zoe as she handed the ring back to her aunt. Aunt Kim nodded. Yes, but a trained eye can tell if it's not the real thing. After a moment, she asked, did you know that the Bible warns us not to be synthetic Christians? Synthetic Christians, Zoe repeated. What do you mean? Well, the Bible doesn't use the word synthetic, but the concept is the same. It says some people may look like Christians, but they have no relationship with Jesus. There hasn't been a change inside. They're often able to fool other people, maybe even fool themselves, but in reality, they're fakes. In the Bible, Jesus talked about the people who call him Lord but don't really know him at all. We can always tell who truly knows Jesus and who's faking it, but God knows. Zoe nodded thoughtfully. I wouldn't mind having a synthetic ruby or other gem, she said, but I wouldn't want to be a fake Christian. Aunt Kim shook her head. Me neither. That's why it's so important to make sure we have a relationship with Jesus. Those who trust in him are the real thing, genuine Christians. And so I have to ask you this question. Are you a Christian? And how do you know that? Is it because your parents are Christians? Is it because you're a good kid, you act the way a Christian acts? But what is it that makes you a Christian? It's a good question to think about and a good question to consider in your devotions this morning. And I hope that's a help to you. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.